This is a landscape of a Gulmohar tree that we are now going to see how was developed. I've developed the base in water, applied water all over the surface of the sky area, and we are now introducing the sky color into the wet area, the watered area. Basically, we are applying the yellows, light yellows, indicating the dawn time of the day, working into the wet surface applied on the paper. The paper is a handmade drawing paper, and it's a handmade drawing paper block which is easier to work on. We add the sky color gradually, working into the wets, into the wet of the earlier color between the branches of the tree. We're basically using a chrome yellow and a slight tinge of blue. Let the color flow into each other as it is wet. Work through the edges, introduce more and more color, work from light to dark, filling up the entire area, indicating the sky. Gradually we add the blues. We had started with the lighter shades from the center, and we are now working out towards the outer side of the sky. Just try to merge the colors into each other. That's the basis of working wet in wet. Then we start with the actual land area. We are trying to indicate a hilly area with a pathway in the center. So there will be a left side of the hilly area and the right. On this left side, again we start with the light and work towards the dark. Just add patches. We are doing an impressionistic painting, so we need not add the details. Then as the right side is drying up a little bit, we start on to the left side. Introduce browns gradually, lighter to darker browns, and then there will be the pathway in the center that we are now doing. Add a little bit of color here and there as the color dries up, or you want to add patches here and there, you could do that while it is wet. We're trying to develop the sky more and more as the land is drying up a little bit. Slowly and gradually. And then we start with the foliage of the tree. Now this is a Gulmohar tree, so it will be mostly in oranges, but we start from light to dark. So we start with the lighter yellows for the lighter areas. Remember, the light is coming from the left hand side, so the left hand side of the tree will be light and right side will be dark. Within that also we will be having patches similar to the shrubs, so individually those shrubs will have to be developed with light and dark shades. So we have now added the lighter tones and we gradually add the dark tones, working into the earlier color applied. Again, this works in wet in wet. Just add the foliage. Remember, the strokes will have to be uneven because the foliage is never even, so it need not be in one direction. Change the direction of the strokes every now and then to get a more realistic picture. Add the darks, work in more and more as the foliage develops. Add the darks onto the right side of the tree and right side of the independent bushes. but let the essence of the water be there. The darks need not be thick, so if you make it thick, the essence of the watercolor is not going to be seen. So let the color be watery and work from light to dark and mostly wet in wet. We do use dry brush, but that will be later on. We work into the independent bushy foliage of the tree, each, treating each and every bush sort of part of the tree, working it from light to dark. Then add the greens here and there, the leafy part of the tree, and also to indicate the darker side of the independent bushes. The green will definitely have to be not the viridian green, but more a mixture of green and a little bit of red in it always, so as to give it a more realistic look. The land part which was slightly dried up, we will develop that more and more with patches of more and more darker tones of brown shade. Add a little bit of orange, a little bit of green, a little bit of blue, but the blue will have to be very little because it's quite tricky to work in those tones. This hilly part, again the same principle will follow. The lighter shade will be on the on the left side, since the light is going to be from the left side, and therefore the right side will be more and more dark. We worked into the branches and the trunk of the tree, the roots, with shades of brown. Add the branches here and there, and the background foliage, which is not going to be too much in detail. Slightly add the shadowy part, and we have the distant trees, indicative patches of different distant trees. The house is being worked in. The bushes around the house and the darker tones of the hilly side. Distant foliage, distant trees behind the house. Add some strokes to indicate the foliage behind the house. And a very distant foliage again in different tones of greens, watery of course, so as to not make it more dark. And that's how it is worked in, and the ultimate image is what this looks like. Thank you.